help them to feel that they are, you know, good. Because I think that it also comes down to, do you really know who you are as a youth? Because when I was growing up, when I began to know who I was, it changed my whole life. Instead of me thinking, oh, I have to fit into this mold, I have to do this, I have to do that. I started to, once I knew that what I wanted to achieve, I was able to start working towards it. So I think that your perception of who you are as a youth is very important, and knowing that you're valuable and special.
Right,
And
Dr. Jet.
I just want to add, the very people who are entrusted with the task of making us feel like we want a sense of self, they are the very same ones who have low expectation of the youth. And the literature has shown over the past 3 decades or so, in particularly with black boys and those from other ethnic groups, that they're not performing, and this because teachers have low expectation of them.
Right.
And if your teacher think you can't produce.
But you know what? It's changed now. It's actually, they're saying that it's now working class white boys that are now failing in education. Yeah, that's the new argument.
I know of that argument, but what I was saying, that low expectation don't expect you to, especially because they were saying hereditary, that we are lesser, we are lesser being, and we are less intelligent than other ethnic groups.
Is that still the case in the world of today?
You would be surprised to know. You'd be surprised to know that I had an incident like that just last year.
Yes, okay.
Just last year.
Yes,
so I know that feeling, that low expectation, and that's it. Well, I don't expect much from you, so I don't expect much. You know?
What about parents as well? Like
we're coming to that. Yes, more. You were going to add something
earlier on about knowing who you are, and is in line with what Dr. just said. I was going to come to that. The same people who are supposed to help us know who we are, same people who are, you know, bringing us down. It's all about you know, somebody making you, pushing you to know who you are from, you know, when you were youth. It can't happen when you are already.
All right, let me ask you something. Your lecturers, your teachers, your educators, you are all in education institutions. We talked about classroom and so on. Do you think also the presentation of a youth, because I'm a lecturer just like you, and I remember in the past, you know, from the beginning of lessons, I used to look at my students, and then I see the way they dress, sometimes in my heart, and I know that can put them in trouble. Where they come, they have massive jewelries, you know, on the neck, which is nice. It's a fashion for the youth and so on. But for no reason, some teachers may perceive that as an offensive. Some of them, because of code, they wear their hats. They come to classroom with their hat, you know, on. And sometimes they get into trouble with things like that. What do you think about, you know, the appearance? Should the youth, you know, appear the way they should be seen as good people? What do you think? That's, you know, somebody's appearance in terms of
I think it's sort of attitude. When I worked with in the university with the young people, I was mainly I mainly focused on attitude, how the body language was. So I wasn't concerned with whether they have a hoodie on or whether they have lots of jewelry.
But that is you. I
was more concerned with like whether they actually had the attitude and willingness to learn, and how they were towards me or even their peers. So if they were like that and they just were not interested, and if you're trying to talk to them, they don't listen to you, then that would upset me more as an educator, rather than what they're wearing and the jewelry and the tattoos. That doesn't really
having
good.
And then Choma, what you're saying in a way is okay, but I don't think as a lecturer that I'm only there to educate them, you know. I'm also there to teach them morals.
Yes.
Okay.
Behavior.
So if a student come into my class not well dressed, I think I stand, as the right person to correct the student.
And when you say your student is not well dressed, what are you looking for? Is it wearing suits to the classroom?
No.
Yeah, I want her to say why.
I
want to her to describe that.
Okay. Some of the girls will come in with very short mini skirt, and I've asked them to please go and dress properly and come, because that will arouse You know,
some kind of...
Yes, and some of the boys will not listen to you anymore. They keep looking at them. And when they come in with the very short dress, they just keep their legs like that, you know, cross their legs. And some of the boys, you know, the latest fashion now that they wear with the trousers and
then falling out.
Falling out. And they walk in like that to my class. I tell them to go to the toilet and put their trousers up. They come in, you know, things like that. And they laugh over it, but they go and dress fine and come in.
Thank you very much. You've dressed it. We hit the point. Another minute because we'll be going on break in a minute.
Just quickly, it's an institutional problem.
Right.
If an institution sets a particular standard, by all means, the students should stick to that standard. Exactly. And maybe old-fashioned, but your dress says a lot about you. And if you go into class not knowing the difference between your waist and your knees, what can you learn? And you know, if you dress properly, I'm not talking about suits, just dress neat and nice, you would have a different mindset. Your dress gives you a mindset.
Thank you.
And people look at you.
We're going to go on break now. We're coming back again to deliberate on this and the causes and the reasons and the strategies to help the youth to be recognized in the society and deal with the challenges they are facing. The person presenting, as I said, Dr. Mrs. Elizabeth Achinewhu-Nworgu, Director of Focus Learning Support, motivational speaker, and a lecturer in the UK.
Are you interested in studying abroad in a UK-based college or university? Would you like to enhance and increase your career choices in a conducive atmosphere? Focus Learning Support Limited. We will help you seek admission into UK college and universities. We will also assist you in your visa applications. We can also assist you in acquiring accommodation. Our aim is to support you throughout your whole program. At Focus Learning Support, we believe that development thrives under harmony, and that harmony exists through recognition of unity and diversity. Focus Learning Support Limited.
We're back again. Presenter Lizzy, Dr. Mrs. Elizabeth Achinewhu-Nworgu. We are back again to continue to deliberate on the challenges facing the youth of today. My guest speakers have come up with points which I'm going to go back for you to, discuss or deliberate in details, and to put a little more light on what you mean by these words. Some of you said something to do with the attitudes, that the way the youths behave today can make them face some of these challenges. Dr. Gertrude, if I come back to you, you're talking about attitudes. What sort of attitudes? How do you perceive a youth's attitude in the society that can make somebody look down on them? What sort of attitude?
I've often heard the expression, your attitude determines your altitude. Okay. What I interpret that to mean is that the attitude you have would, to a large extent, say how far you would go in life. And if you have a poor attitude, naturally you'll go down. If you have a positive, upbeat attitude, you'll go up.
Right. Can you give me example of positive and poor attitude?
Attitude could be something like, well, I am not going to do my homework. Homework is not important. Who cares about homework? Why are the teachers giving me so much work?
Okay.
And if they only look at homework as an extension of what they're doing in school, then it does not become a chore. And when they look at homework as a chore, the attitude towards that homework or that extra bit that they have to do, it's a poor one.
Okay.
Having studied sociology, I always think about all the different social factors, the different social reasons. For example, environment. What environment do they live in? Some people come home to an environment where there's a lot of space, they have the books ready there, they have a desk, and it's a very peaceful environment. Some people have a very noisy environment. They may come home to a house where there's nowhere to study, there's books everywhere, paper on the floor, they have to do the dishes, they're not even allowed to kind of watch TV because they have to help out with the children or whatever it might be. So I think everyone's environment and situations are different, and I think that young people should be given that freedom and that space to learn, whether it's, you know, parents thinking about taking them to the library, or whether it's them giving them that space and that time to be able to engage in their work. So I think sometimes the actual environment is why some people don't want to study.